Hello and welcome back to my craft room. I decided I haven't got quite enough hobbies or quite enough supplies in my craft room. Anybody watching who knows me? Well, no, that's definitely not true. But having said that, it's always good to try something new, isn't it? Keeps your brain firing. And this isn't really something new. This is something that's been in my head for quite a long time. So let me show you what I've got to play with today. Many years ago, I got this flick book, and I can't even remember now. I think it might have been my mum bought it. It was actually printed quite local to here in Norfolk. I used to love flick books. I used to make little flick books with the kids, I think, when they were little. Long time ago. You know, you could just do them in the corner of the telephone directory that we used to get in those days. But yeah, so the idea, if you don't know, is that you get a little series of drawings that when you flick through, you get this little animated kind of scene. And what this one has got, which I've read somewhere is a really good idea, is just a several blank pages at the front, just so you can kind of get the flick going before the pictures start. So I've fancied for ages having a go at one of these. I've got this, and I can't even now remember where this came from, but it's just very simple, like stack of little slips of paper held together with a book ring. And I've been meaning to get around to doing something with that for ages, and then I just happened to come across something watching YouTube the other day that had this amazing, there's a guy called, I think he's called Andymation. I will put a link to him below. He's based in I think Canada, and he actually you can buy little flick book kits from him. Trouble is, with getting it over from Canada, it was just all a bit ridiculous, so I had to look to be able to find a little kit closer to home, and found this through Amazon, which was sort of about half the price because I didn't have to pay all that packaging. So you might think, well, why do you need to buy a kit? Because really, genuinely, all you need is, you could do it in the corner of an old book, but it does make it a little bit easier. It does just make it a little bit easier to have this kit. So let me show you what's inside. I've had a quick look already. So I paid $18.95 for this, including the postage, and this is what you get. 5 of these flip books, and they're secured together with these little screwed metal posts. Really nice weight of paper, really nice and smooth as well. So 5 of those, and you can buy spares for these. Also some spare posts, so you could make smaller and bigger ones. They're different lengths. And then the most useful bit is this little mini light box. Now the one that the guy was talking about, Andymation I think he's called, was a little bit more well thought out in that. Once I take this off now, it had 2 little pegs here for putting the papers on, which just makes it a bit easier to line things up accurately each time. But what I might do is try just sacrificing a couple of these little pegs and glue them on. So I don't think I would need to explain to anybody. So the idea with a flick book, let's find myself a little pencil. One tip that I read is to number all of the pages first, in case you get lost. So usually you start the story from the back, but I'm just sort of, so say it is supposed to be a good idea to just leave several pages at the beginning blank, so you can just get that flick going. So let's leave them. And say I just wanted to make a dot moving across the page. So the dot is there. The paper is thin enough to see through just about. Yep, there it is. So then you would move it over to here. And then over again. You know, I think we kind of all know the basic premise of flick books, but I've never really given it a proper go as an adult. I just want to see what that looks like. Yeah, so that dot now appears to move across the page. So that's the basic idea, but obviously it is quite difficult to see through even thin paper like this, so this is where the light box will really help me. And this light box comes with a little USB power cable, so it's really handy, quite portable. I can do this downstairs in the evenings, that'd be really nice. Well, that's extremely disappointing because that's not working at all. Okay, I need to make sure I don't throw this packaging away, because if this doesn't work it's going to have to be returned. That isn't working at all. I'm going to just once I've established that it is working, I'm going to have to take that downstairs and try it in a different power supply. Once I've established that it is working, I think what I will do is line up some of these sheets of paper on there, glue these, hot glue, or so just use some kind of strong glue, maybe something like this, a couple of these metal posts to here, so I can just slip the paper on and off, and it'll be really quick and easy to just line the paper up. So that is my little kit. I'm gonna go off and have a little practice now. I wanted to just sort of get all of that out of the box on camera. It's a bit disappointing that it hasn't worked to show you. And then I'm going to have a go at my first flick book, and once I've had a bit of a practice, then I'll come and show you how I did it. And maybe do another one. So if anybody's got any ideas about a subject you'd like to see me do a flick book of, it's almost like they're almost oh, where are we? They're almost like too many ideas. I don't know where to start, you know. And if you put in flick book ideas on Google or YouTube or Pinterest, I mean, it's just like masses and masses of it. So I don't know why I've never got around to trying this before, really. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to do that. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so not surprisingly, it turns out I'm a complete idiot. Let me show you why. Thank goodness I realised before I completely embarrassed myself and complained to the people, to the sellers of this kit. Now, it's probably obvious to everybody except me. Oh, look, you can see a little red light up there now, which you can't see in real life, but I can see it on screen. That's interesting. Now, my friend PP on Twitch would be able to tell me scientifically why it is I can see it on the... He's explained that before and I can't remember. There's a reason for that. Anyway, if I wasn't so ancient, I probably would have immediately recognised this as a power button instead of some kind of logo for the company that makes the light box. So watch this. Not only does it work, but there are 3 levels of brightness. It works perfectly. It's really good. I'm very, very happy with that. £18.95 well spent after all. Okay, I'm glad I realised before I started trying different cables and power sources and things. So now I know that's all right. I can, if I want to, I can glue those, glue these little screws on to give myself some posts. The thing I'm struggling with is getting this off. Admittedly, I'm using a teaspoon instead of a screwdriver because I'm too lazy to go and get a screwdriver. Craft room full of stuff and I haven't got a screwdriver up here. I probably have. Okay, hang on. This is the biggest one. I don't know if it's going to be big enough. This just needs a normal screwdriver. It's a little bit awkward because the back is just going round and round. I can't get hold of it. So maybe I'm being stupid again. Oh, it's just turning round and round. This isn't going to work. If I can't get these off to put the sheets on the thing individually, it's not going to work, is it? Oh, I'm going to lose my temper in a minute. Am I turning it the wrong way? No, it should be anti-clockwise. Right, stop the camera because I'm going to start swearing in a minute. Whew, well, that was a palaver. In the end, what I had to do, I even tried tearing a couple of pages out to sort of loosen the whole thing up a little bit, but I couldn't even get the pages out. The whole thing is screwed together far more tightly than it needs to be. Got there in the end. What I had to do was grab hold of the back of the post, this flat bit. I had to grab hold of that as tightly as I could with the pliers, and then turn the other end, the screw end, with this. Oh, that red dot has moved now. Oh, it's because it's not a red dot on here, it's a red dot coming from, oh dear. I hope PP's not watching this because he'll laugh at me. In a nice way, but he will. And then he'll share it with everybody else I know on Twitch. Okay, right. So I've managed to get this apart. So let's have a go. Let's just do something really, really simple, just to try it out. Doesn't need to be that way around, I suppose. See, without the, so what I was meaning with this, the animation, I think it's called. And let me check that so I can tell you properly. Yeah, it's animation. He's got a YouTube channel as well, so I'll link that too. So his version of this has these little pegs here, and they kind of it's arranged so that the paper overlaps a bit, which he explains is so that you can lift this easily. It's all very, very well thought out. Even his packaging, very, very well thought out. I would have loved to have got hold of his kit, but this one will definitely do the job. As I say, it was just that much nearer to home. I didn't have to pay an arm and a leg for packing, or wait very long. It came the next day. So, of course, I've got to be careful of where the power button is as well, in terms of putting pegs on there that I can rest this on. Because I was thinking, you don't draw on this bit anyway, you draw the main bulk of it here. So this bit you're not going to draw on anyway. But I can't really put pegs there because it's going to get in the way of that power button. Maybe I'll try without the pegs and then line them up. So there, I wouldn't have to think about lining up. I would just, with the animation one, I wouldn't have to think about lining that up. I would just pop it onto the pegs. I guess the pegs could go on here. There's probably no reason why not. So I might do that. Right, so if I feel like I can't see that well enough, I can make it even brighter. Actually, I can see that quite well, like that. So this means that I can put my little stick man in the same place and keep him the same size. Or I can make him grow slowly, if that's what I want to do. I'm going to have him wave gradually. So now I guess I would take this one out and move on to the next one, remembering that you go from the bottom of the book upwards usually. Put his arm a little bit higher again. Yes, but definitely check out the animation YouTube channel. He's got all sorts of, I was watching him unboxing like several boxes of bubblegum from the 80s just to get the Garbage Pail Kids flick book collection. Oh, I accidentally pressed the button then. Oh, this is lovely. This just makes it so easy. So I've got all kinds of ideas. I think the if I really love it and I want to get some refills, I think they were quite cheap, those books. Like I could get a refill pack of, was it 5 for 10 quid or something? There weren't a lot. I mean, you could cut copy paper up and do this yourself. I don't know how accurate I would be, and I don't know if I could be bothered if I could get this for a couple of quid. So we'll see. I might just do these 5 and then think, yeah, I never want to do that again. I think the little tiny light box will be handy for all. I've got another light box, a bigger one, but this is really portable. So yeah, I think this would be a really nice thing to have anyway. What I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to see how it looks. Because you don't want to watch any more of this, I'm sure. I feel like I need to just come down again to make it look like a wave. Yeah, I think the only problem with this is going to be just deciding what little mini story I want to tell first. Okay, I'm going to make that it. Very much love this. Very impressed with it. Thank goodness, after my first initial impression, because I was being an idiot. Let's see, shall we? Let's see if my little man will wave. So I've got the blank ones at the back to start my flick off with. Alright. Okay, yeah, so got it in principle. So I'm gonna probably take that downstairs with me this evening now, and do a little story. I've got an idea of doing some kind of a jump out kind of surprise idea. Also like the idea of adding splashes of colour. I think some of the ones that I've looked at, we've got, you know, splashes of colour are really fun. So we'll see. I'll come back and show you that in a moment. Okay, so that all took an awful lot longer than I thought it was going to. Let me show you how I've got on. It's because I've enjoyed doing it, but it's way more time consuming than you think it's going to be, or than I thought it was going to be. So this is now a couple of weeks after I first started filming this. It's been a couple of weeks of very hot weather, and that's what my little scenario is about. Inspired by my poor plants outside in pots, all flagging in the heat, same as me. So I'm at the point where I can screw this book back together and put the covers on. I ended up using 2 of the books and putting them together, but luckily we get these longer screws. So I want a front and back cover. I've left some blank sheets at the back, and I'm going to flick it in from the bottom up. I think you can do it either way, but these longer screws will just about go through. There's not a lot of room there, so now I'm not going to do it up as tightly as it was to start with. I'm not even going to use a screwdriver, I'm just going to finger tighten it, or use my teaspoon, because if I decide I want to change something or whatever, I don't want all that palaver getting it undone again. It's nice that they hold them together more tightly than, like, you know, with the book rings or whatever, as it makes it easier to sort of flick through smoothly. Yeah, so I can do a little fun cover on it. I did find, oh no, where have I put it? So this is the old one I had of the that I showed you before. The cat. Being startled by the mouse. And then I found this one as well, and I think this was maybe National Trust or something. Amazing. It's amazing how much detail. This one's a bit stiffer to flick through. I suspect that the Andymation kit probably has better quality of paper than I got in this kit. I know he did talk about trying lots of different types of paper to find the best one. I'm not convinced that this is going to be the best paper ever. So I ended up adding, I used colour pencils to add a bit of colour. Yeah, this is the blank one that I will do something with this, because there's a lot of pages in it. So yeah, if you've got any ideas for stories that would be fun to do as a flick book, do leave them in the comments, because I'm a bit sort of I've got so many ideas in my head that I can't decide. And I know now from doing this one that it's surprising, just a very few seconds a flick are a lot of hours of work and a lot of pages. So I can't do quite as elaborate a story as I had in mind, unless I put 3 books together, and I don't really want to be doing that. So what I'm going to do is just show you a quick look at Andymation's YouTube channel. So here he is. You can see he does all kinds of things. So I made a fake 90s commercial. I haven't seen that one yet. That's only just gone up. Remaking his own flip book 30 years later. Here he's talking about his new kit. He's using AI. 1,000-page flip book. What can I do with just a line? All of your flips. So he does. People send him their flip books, and he flips through them all for you to see. My biggest flip book ever. 900 page flip book, world's smallest flip book, my best flip books. Let's have a look at that one.
Hi guys, today's video is a compilation.
I don't really want to just show his so you can see the kind of thing. Obviously I will leave a link to that for you to have a look. There's lots of other people as well, I'm sure, doing flip books, but I'll just keep coming back to him again and again. He's just so, his channel is so much fun. He's got so many ideas. So yeah, so let's have a look at mine. It's just, I've almost made myself chicken out of showing you now, having had a quick look at how amazing Andy's were. But here we go. This is my first ever attempt, so you know, except for the ones I used to make with the kids when they were little. So here we go. Let's see how this works. It's not flicking very smoothly. So this is my poor plants wilting in the heat, and me coming on going, oh no, poor plant, give it some water, and the plant recovers and bursts into colourful flowers. I did have a face, but I couldn't keep the face the same, so in the end I went back over and blanked them all. So I might go back in and make a face, or I might just leave it there. It doesn't, it's not flicking very smoothly, and I'm not sure why that is. Maybe I should tighten up the screws a little bit. I can't get it right. Maybe I should do it very slowly and just speed it up in editing. No, that's still not going to work. There's a couple of bits where it just seems to jump and then you miss bits. It's actually flicking better that way. But yeah, it's great fun to do, and I will definitely have another go. I love the idea of just what can you do with a dot and what can you do with a line. Yeah. Anyway, so that's all I've got to show you for today. I hope you found that interesting or inspiring. I mean, have a go. You can just have a go in the corner of an old book or something. You know, you don't need to. You don't need to have a kit, you don't need a light box. We didn't used to have a light box when I was in fact, you know, if you do it with cheap copy paper, it's quite thin, you know, just use cheap thin paper, and it's easier to see through and see what you're doing. Oh, one thing I was going to mention is that I decided against, I'm going back again, see I'm distracting myself again. I decided against bothering with the pegs on. He just didn't need it, and I found that sometimes I wouldn't be lining the pages up together, I'd be just slightly moving something, so I'd, like with the watering can, so I'd just angle it slightly and trace it through to gradually change the angle of the object, if that makes sense. Yeah, so yeah, I decided the pegs aren't necessary. Just watched back I just watched back that film I made a couple of weeks ago where I didn't realise about the power button. What a klutz. I could just edit all of that out, but I don't mind making a fool of myself in public. I've been doing it for years. Okay, I'm really going now. Thanks very much for joining me today, and I'll see you again really soon.